Hello everyone, I'm Enrique, a designer at CLO 3D, and today I'm going to give you an overview of our rendering lights. To do so, let's go over here at the top and press on Render, and then Render again. We're going to click on this icon to start the interactive render so that all the changes we make can be instantly viewed on the render window. We'll then go over here onto the light properties icon and click on it. You'll notice right at the top that we have the option to open, save, and reset. This is because you're able to save lighting presets to then open them in different projects to have the exact same lighting setup. Over here we have some presets that are natively available within CLO. I'm going to select a random one, it can be this one, and you'll see all the lights that are included in this preset will be over here. I don't want it, so I'm going to press reset. And you notice that on the right side of each light name, you have the ability to activate them, show them in 3D, and show them in the render. The lighting preset we have right now consists of an HDR image that's in the environment map, and we are able to change its intensity by manually inputting a specific value or using the slider. You can also adjust the light angle, and we can additionally lock to camera, which will pretty much, it's as if the light would be attached to the camera. So the light will always follow the camera movement. It won't be static in the rendering scene. As you can see over here, if I turn it around, the light stays in the same place, always hitting on the right side. Additionally, we have the ground shadow, which if you want to activate, you would have to press this icon to show in the render, where you can manually input the specific value for intensity or just use the slider. This is not what I want, so to go back to default, I will once again press on reset, and we're back to our studio low contrast default. In CLO, we have 6 different types of light. We have rectangle lights, whose size, intensity, direction, and color can be changed. These are usually characterized by their soft shadows. Sphere light, a globe-shaped light whose size, intensity, and color can be changed, and its effect is similar to a light bulb in a frosted glass globe. Directional light, which is a small light whose size is static but intensity and color can be changed. These are characterized by their sharp shadows. Spotlight, which is a cone-shaped light whose size, intensity, direction, and color can be changed. The cone, penumbra angle, and shadow radius can be changed to add effect to the environment, allowing you to make the shadows and edge of the light appear more soft or sharp. IES Light, that have an IES file describing how light from a lamp is distributed in a room. This data is usually provided by lighting manufacturers so that lighting designers can realistically simulate how a project will look when a specific light source is used. And lastly, dome light. The default in CLO is Studio Low Contrast. These include an environment map image that can be shown to create a visual environment. CLO includes already some presets, but third-party HDRI files can also be used. It's pretty much an image file with light information that wraps around in a 360 angle around the entire environment. I will start by deactivating our dome light so that we can see what we're doing, and add a rectangular light by clicking on it. You'll see that the light was added in our 3D window. We can move it around and rotate to make sure the light is actually shining at our avatar. You're also able to deactivate it, show them in the 3D window, and show in the render. You're able to change its intensity and also its color. I'm going to choose this pink one, or you can also use the RGB slider. You can also manually input dimensions for the light size. As you see, as soon as I press enter, the changes are reflected on our 2D and render window, because I have the light set to be shown on both windows, in 3D and on the render window. I'll be clicking on it and hit the backspace to delete it. And now let's add a sphere light. You'll see that the light was added right at the bottom of our 3D window. And now I'm just going to bring it up a little and towards the front. I'll leave this in the middle to show you something else later. you can see that we have a small line coming from the sphere. That's the direction of the light, but since this is a sphere light and gives the same effect as light coming from a frosted light bulb, the light is evenly distributed around the sphere, so in all directions. So for this light in particular, this line is just purely illustrated. As you can see, you're also able to deactivate them, show them in 3D, and show them in the render. You're able to change its intensity as well, its color, and also its radius. I'm going to select it and hit the backspace to delete it. And let's now add a directional light by clicking on it. You'll see that once again it was added at the bottom of our scene. I'm going to push it forward a little and a bit up. You can see that this light has some really sharp shadows. If you pay attention to the shadow casted by his head, I'm going to slightly rotate this light and you'll see that the shadow will move but will still be extremely sharp. You can also deactivate them, show them in 3D, change its intensity, and of course, also change its color. I'm going to click on it again, hit the backspace to delete it, and let's now add a spotlight by clicking on it. Once again, the light was added at the bottom of our 3D window, and I'm going to leave it here at the front to show you how different settings affect the light. I'm just going to zoom in a little, and of course you also have the ability to deactivate the light and show it in the 3D window. You can change its intensity, its color, and you can change its cone angle, which will pretty much dictate how broad the light source will be. As you can see, the bigger the angle, the broader the light is. The penumbra angle is related to the edges of the light. You'll notice if I set the penumbra angle to 10, the light edge will be much softer rather than if it's set to 0. So the bigger the value, the softer the light edge will be. The same goes for the shadow radius. If I increase it a little, you'll notice that his chin shadow will be slightly softer. It's the exact same principle. The higher the value, the softer the shadow. I'm going to click on it and delete by hitting the backspace. Next, let's add an IES Light by clicking on it. And of course, you have the option to activate the light, show and hide in the 3D window. And like I previously explained, the IES Light consists of an IES file. To change this file, you can just press on this 4 squares icon right here and browse through your computer to find your IES file. Press open and it was added. The intensity of this light will be given in lumens. It will be characteristic of each light map, meaning it will be characteristic of each IES file. Additionally, you can also change this to custom and input your own specific value. The higher the value, the higher the lumens, the higher the brightness. And of course, you're also able to change its color. I'm going to click on it and hit the backspace to delete, and let's go over to our last light, which is the dome light. If I click on it, I'll get a pop-up window saying that the current scene already has a dome light. That is because in the beginning of the video, I just deactivated our dome light, because in CLO, the dome light is the default light when you open up the render window. So I'm just going to press OK and go to our light properties. I'll just click on it. And you see over here we have a dome light already added, it was just deactivated. I can reactivate it by pressing this little light bulb icon. And of course I can also show it in 3D and in the render. I'm able to change the light intensity and the light angle. You'll notice as I slide it, the light will change direction. So it will be rotating around our avatar. Additionally, I can lock it to camera, which means that the light will follow the exact same movement the camera is doing. If I turn it off, you'll notice that now the color will be static and it will be always shining at the avatar from the same direction. This environment map is a studio low contrast, which is the default in CLO. And to change it to another HDRI image, I just have to press this little plus icon, navigate through my computer and open the HDRI file I want to use. In this case, I also wanted to show in the render, so I'm going to press this icon and we can see our HDRI image also in the render. I'm going to change the angle to 0 so that we get a nice background, and you'll see the HDRI image totally wraps around our scene. If I lock to camera and now rotate, you'll notice that the HDRI image stays in the exact same place, but the avatar still rotates around it. So right now, this HDRI image that we loaded onto our environment map is the only light source being used to create this render. If I click over here, you'll be able to see some maps that belong to our CLO presets. Like I said in the beginning of the video, all lighting information will be stored over here in the light properties. So if I now change to this limelight preset, you'll see that this preset is made out of a bunch of different lights. If I click here to show them all in our 3D window, you'll be able to see the lighting layout. Of course, I can click and move them around just like a normal light. And if I click on it, I'll get just properties related to that light in specific. To get an overview again, I would have to go back to light properties, and there I would have the information regarding to all the lights. I can do the exact same things. I can change the intensity of the light. I can do the exact same things as if I clicked on them individually. To add another one, for example, a sphere light, I would just have to click on it and a new sphere light was added. If I go on to our light properties now and scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see that our newly added sphere light was added over here right at the bottom. I'll just increase its intensity a little bit for you to see that it's actually there. And to this, I just have to click on it and hit the backspace or delete key. If I want to save these exact lighting settings to use on a different project, I would just have to go over here, click on save, navigate through the folder I want to save it in, give it a name, and press save. So I'll press reset to simulate that I'm starting fresh with a completely different project. I will now be able to open up the exact same lighting settings. So I would go to our light properties once again, hit on open, and I would just have to locate the file and open it. And there you go, we have the exact same light settings added to our project. I really hope this video was informative and that you could learn something today. Thank you so much for your time and for watching. Until next time.